आयो श्री वृंदावन, श्री वृंदावन, श्री वृंदावन, जय श्री वृंदावन।
Just over here is Shamvan, where there is a sacred Govardhan Shila with a very holy, explicit footprint of Lord Krishna that has been worshipped by devotees for thousands and thousands of years. Shamvan is where there is the Ratnasingha, the place where Srimati Radharani would sit and be offered various types of services, and where Radha and Krishna would sit together. The Bhagavatam describes a very important story that took place in Shamvan. It was the night of Holi, and Krishna Balaram with their gopis were performing beautiful pastimes. Krishna Balaram, to please their gopis, were singing with most sweet and divine voices. They were singing very loudly, and the melodious sound of the voice was ambrosial nectar to the gopis' hearts. In this way, Krishna Balaram were dedicating their energy just to give pleasure to the devotees, and the gopis, their lives, their souls, their everything was only for the pleasure of Krishna. So in this beautiful moonlit forest of Shamvan, in the midst of this wonderful pastime of love, the demon Shankachuda appeared. Shankachuda was a devotee and close associate of Kuvera, who has access to large wealth. Shankachuda became so wealthy and so physically powerful, he was intoxicated by his opulences and became a horrible demon. He considered that nobody could defeat him in any way. He heard about the powers of Kamsa, and that outraged him, that there was a competitor. So in great anger, he ferociously challenged Kamsa to fight. And they fought. It was an incredible fight. They were fighting and fighting. They were breaking each other's clubs on each other. Wow. When they had no more clubs, they were beating each other with their fists. They were both mystic yogis. Each of them had the strength of 10,000 elephants. Hare Krishna. Thousands of elephants. They would grab each other and just go up into the sky and throw the other to the ground, and the other would pick up the other and go way, way, way high in the sky and throw him to the ground. They fought like this for 27 days. And then Gargamuni approached and said, "It's impossible for either of you to defeat the other. You are too equal in strength. My suggestion is you become allies." He said, "Krishna is your real enemy." He said, "Both of you are either going to kill Krishna or be killed by Krishna. That is my prophecy." So they became, I won't say friends, but they became allies. Something like two political parties that hate each other, that are united for a common purpose of defeating an enemy. And they lived in Mathura together. Shankachuda came to Shambhavan near Govardhan Hill on the moonlit night of Holi. And as Krishna and Balaram and the gopis were enjoying such sweet pastimes of love, Shankachuda just appeared. He couldn't tolerate seeing Krishna and Balaram enjoying such beautiful women. Srila Prabhupada explains this, that when one is too much intoxicated with false pride, especially due to too much wealth and influence, one thinks I'm the enjoyer. And beautiful women are meant for me. Cannot tolerate somebody else having. So as if the gopis were his property, he was demanding them to go in the northern direction with him. And he was forcing, screaming at them, go this way, come with me. And the gopis were being led away, and they were piteously screaming, Krishna, Balaram, help, help, help. We're being taken away by a demon. So Krishna and Balaram both picked up logs and charged at Shankachuda. And Shankachuda, when he saw them, he understood this is too much. So he left the gopis behind and ran away. So much for his heroism. So Krishna entrusted the care of gopis with Balaramji. And then he went and chased after Shankachuda. For two reasons. One, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam, to free the earth from another asura. But also, Shankachuda was very proud because he had a unique jewel that was priceless. It was the shape of a conch shell, and he wore it on top of his head. So Krishna chased after Shankachuda and caught him, and with one blow of his fist, Krishna liberated the asura. And then he seized the jewel and came back to Shambhavan, where Balaram and gopis were waiting, and he presented that jewel to Lord Balaram. There's a long story of that jewel. Later on, that jewel came into the possession of Srimati Radharani, and later on, it came into the possession of the sun god, Surya, who gave it to Satyajit. It was known as the Shamantaka jewel. Shankachuda represents the proneness to name and fame, which is a great anartha, an obstacle for those who are on the path of devotional service. It's very irresistible. Krishna tells in Gita that lust is like fire. It burns in the heart. And the more fuel you give fire, the hotter and hungrier it becomes. You cannot satisfy lust by giving it objects to enjoy. You only make it worse. And name and fame, pratishta, is the subtle form of lust. It burns in our heart. And we see when people get name and fame, the more they get, the more they need. The more they get, the more frustrated they are when they don't get it. The more they have, the more they're prone to become envious of anybody who may be their competitor. Vaishnavism is just the opposite. Vaishnava, we want to be the servant of the servant of the servant. We want to exalt and glorify everyone. We want to see everyone get blessings. Srila Prabhupada would say that he was praying that all of his disciples become better than him and more successful than him and do more than him. He was praying that. That's Vaishnava. Of course, if any disciple thinks that they could ever do anything near what Prabhupada, they would be in very deep trouble. But that was Prabhupada's wish. Whatever we're doing, it is only, whatever anyone could do is only by his power. So yes, we see in the lives of all the great Vaishnava saints, they are very happy to take the lowliest, humblest position. And they want to see everyone get the mercy of the Lord. They want to see every devotee be empowered by the Lord. And they take their pleasure not in praising themselves, but in praising others. But we have this deep-seated tendency, this proneness for name and fame. We want our attributes, our glories, to show like this conch shell jewel on our heads to attract people. But let us pray that Krishna will kill that propensity and steal that jewel of our false ego away and give it to Balaram, the original spiritual master, and be his humble, obedient servant. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also tells another story about Shambhavan. He says that one day, Krishna, he told Srimati Radharani that he had received a mantra from Purnamasi and he wanted to test this mantra with her. So she came into Shambhavan and Krishna took black cudgel and covered her body with it. Then Krishna took clothes identical to his own and put it on Radharani. So she looked just like him. And then Krishna, with the perfect imitation of Srimati Radharani's voice, called the gopis to come. When gopis arrived, they saw two Krishnas. One was standing and one was sitting. And they were confused. And then Krishna, with the voice of Srimati Radharani, said that Krishna, she pointed to Radharani who looked like Krishna, he said, Krishna, by the power of mantra, has made me look just like him. Now I have the identical form. The only difference is I still have my own voice. Lalita Saki inquired, why did Krishna do this? And Krishna, pretending in Radharani's voice, said, I'm too embarrassed to tell you in public, but I'll tell each and every one of you the secret in a private place. So then Krishna went into a very secret kunja, and each gopi came individually, and Krishna gave them his private darshan and fulfilled their heart's desires. And of course, seeing all the gopis getting Krishna's special mercy, Radharani, who everyone thought was Krishna, was very, very happy. Vishwanath Chakravarti tells this nice story in regard to Shambhavan. We are now, this Kund that we are sitting around is called Gval Pokhar. Very, very holy place. Every day, Krishna with the gopas would come while herding cows to this place. This was one of their favorite places for taking prasad. They would take prasad together and have so many beautiful pastimes in Sakyaras of playing amongst one another. And after lunch prasad, Krishna and Madhu Mangal would very, very quietly just disappear and go to Surya Kund. Because they knew the time that Srimati Radharani was going to Surya Kund every day to worship the sun god. Do all of you remember last year when we went to Surya Kund? Such a holy and beautiful place. So Krishna would disguise himself as a Brahmin priest, and Madhu Mangal was his assistant. And they would perform the puja, and in this way they would have a very nice way of meeting with Srimati Radharani and her friends. And on one particular day, Sri Radharani and gopis, they gave Madhu Mangal dakshina, or some donation for his wonderful puja that he had performed to Surya Dev. They gave him Manohar Laddu, a whole bag full of them. And Manohar Laddu are the most favorite ladus of Lord Sri Krishna. They're very nectarine. And she also gave Madhu Mangal a gold ring. So Madhu Mangal, who is quite well known throughout the 14 worlds as one who has a very, very special attraction for ladus. He wrapped those ladus up in his cloth and he kept them and guarded them very carefully. So they came back to Gval Pokhar, where the gopas were playing so many nice pastimes with each other. Balaram said, "Hey, Madhu Mangal, what is in that cloth bag that you have?" Madhu Mangal became very timid, and he looked at the ground and said, "Nothing." He was really protective, really guarding. He said, "Nothing." And then Balaram indicated to the cowherd boys. And two of the cowherd boys each took and held one of Madhu Mangal's hands each. So he had no hands. And then another cowherd boy came from behind and put both of his palms over Madhu Mangal's eyes so he couldn't move and he couldn't see. And then another boy snatched the cloth bag of Manohar Ladus from Madhu Mangal's where it was tied around his waist. And then that boy distributed the ladus to the other cowherd boys, and they were eating them and just laughing and laughing and laughing and telling Madhu Mangal, these ladus are so good, these are the most enjoyable, best ladus we've ever had. And Madhu Mangal was so angry, he was becoming so angry. So just to increase the nectar of this leela, one cowherd boy started pulling out the back and front pleats of Madhu Mangal's dhoti. And then another cowherd boy was pulling his sika. And meanwhile, while his sika is being pulled, his hands are tied, he can't see, his dhoti's coming off. They're all telling him how wonderful these ladus are. Madhu Mangal was so angry. He said, "I am a Brahmin." He said, "I'm going to curse you." And when the boys heard that Madhu Mangal was cursing, they laughed louder. By this time, Madhu Mangal was really upset. So he just marched away. And he said, "I'm going back to the village of Braj, and I'm going to tell all your mothers what you have done to me." On his way, he met Krishna. And Krishna pacified him. And Krishna dressed him nicely and took him by the hand and said, come back, they're our friends." And Krishna brought him back to here, Gval Pokhar. And there was a few little crumbs left of those Manohar Ladus. And Madhu Mangal was given that. And then he was very happy. And then they all just laughed and laughed in great sakyaras, happiness, after performing this beautiful leela. So Gval Pokhar is a place of the wonderful pastimes of Krishna and the cowherd boys. let us offer our very sincere prayers that we may develop a genuine and real attraction and attachment for hearing the beautiful pastimes of the Lord. The Lord performs these charming leelas in this world just to enchant our hearts, Madan Mohan, steal our hearts away from material enjoyment, which is the road to death. The pastimes of the Lord, the names of the Lord, and the service to the Lord is the path to eternal life and eternal love. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Is the sun so hot that that's all you can do? Jai Jai Shri Radhe! Surya Dev is the father of Yamuna. Ramchandra is a descendant of Surya Dev. We should be happy to get the blessings of Surya Dev. We should be grateful. And when Surya Dev shines his light and his heat upon those devotees who are doing the Govardhan Parikrama, we should understand it is a great, great blessing. So let us take shelter of the holy name and continue our circumambulation around Sri Govardhan Hill. From this place to our right, we are being blessed with our first darshan of Shri Giriraj. Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki. Raghunath Das Goswami prayed for eternal residence in the vicinity of Sri Govardhan Hill. Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur inspired his followers in the mood that we are so unqualified to be in this place. It should be a prayer and an aspiration that we are striving to purify ourselves. And he taught us that we should purify, especially through Harinam and through Seva. And one of the most pleasing sevas to the Lord is preaching. Preaching or assisting the preaching of the message of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada is actually offering, in the line of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, he's offering all of us eternal residence at the foot of Govardhan Hill. If we simply please him by taking his instructions as our life and soul. Can everyone hear nicely? Can anyone not hear nicely? I guess they wouldn't answer if they did. But as a formality, I ask anyway. Would all of you like to just remain here in this nice shady forest on the foot of Govardhan for all of eternity? Especially amongst all of you, it would be my greatest treasure in life. we are soon coming to the town of Govardhan. There is Manasi Ganga. Because of the crowds and the congestion in Manasi Ganga, it will be very difficult for 2,000 people to sit down and do Shravanam Kirtanam. So we are taking this opportunity in this enchanting forest in the presence of Giriraj to speak something about the importance of Manasi Ganga. Kamsa sent a demon in the form, who took the form of a small calf. This was when Krishna was very young and he was still taking care of the little calves with Balaram. Now, all of us understand that there is nothing more innocent and sweet than a little baby calf. Yes? The lotus eyes and such beautiful form. A most vicious, blood-sucking, cruel-hearted demon took the form of a very innocent, lotus-like little calf and entered secretly into the herd of calves of Krishna and Balaram for the exclusive purpose of killing Krishna and the Gopas. Now Krishna knows everything. So he took Balaram aside and said, "You see that little calf there? Huh? That's a demon who's come to kill us." When we trust somebody, we can get the greatest benefit if that person is giving us the right thing. But also we could suffer the worst if they betray us. In this world, sometimes people are cheated so many times that they really can't have faith in anybody. If you don't have faith in people, if you don't trust people, you can protect yourself from being hurt. But you can't make any progress spiritually either. You can have no satisfying, loving relationship, and you cannot make any spiritual advancement unless you have faith. So because people have been cheated so many times by people that they put trust in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, it's hard to have faith. So it is a great duty of every Vaishnava to act and live and speak in such a way without hypocrisy that people can trust us. And to put our trust in those who are sincerely and honestly trying to represent Guru and Krishna. So Vatsasura, so deceiving, little calf, chewing on grass, meditating on killing the cowherd boys. Haribo, who were all serving him and protecting him. So Krishna quietly walked behind Vatsasura, picked him up by the rear legs and whirled him around so fast over his head, circle after circle after circle after circle after circle. Vatsasura was so dizzy that he gave up his life. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki! Then Krishna threw him to the top of a kapita tree, and the kapita tree fell down. Why did Krishna throw him on top of that tree? Because there were nice fruits on those trees. And he wanted his friends to enjoy those fruits. So after Vatsasura was killed, the demigod showered flowers and all the boys embraced Krishna. Well done, well done, well done. Vatsasura assumed his form, and then they all ate kapita fruits very happily. But the Gopas they expressed to Krishna that, how can we play with you? You have performed the sin of killing a calf. Calf was a demon, but still he was a calf. Actually, sometimes a person eats meat, and then they have to take birth as a cow to be slaughtered. Yes? So it's their karma. But still, because they're a cow, if you participate in it, you get the karma of killing a cow, even though it's a reaction for their own karmas. Sometimes it's like that. So the Gopas said, whatever he might be, whatever his internal demonic whatever, he was a calf and you killed him. So you should purify yourself by bathing in the Ganges. So Krishna, just near the Govardhan hill, in his mind, he meditated on Ganga Mai. In his mind, he invited Ganga Mai to manifest herself in Vrindavan. From the mind of Krishna, Ganga Devi appeared as Manasi Ganga. And then Krishna took his bath, and the Gopas took their baths, and they all had very nice leelas together. Now this was kept quite secret amongst the Gopas. One day, Nanda and Yashoda were listening to Katha, and they heard an incredible story. They heard a story about how Garuda caught a lowly, sinful, envious snake, captured him with his claws, and was carrying him away. While he was in the air, the tail of the snake was hanging down, and the tail, just for a moment, touched the water of the Ganges. Immediately that snake assumed a perfectly liberated, four-armed Vaikuntha form. And when Garuda saw that, he placed the four-armed form on his back and took that living entity, personally brought him right to Vaikuntha. When Nanda and Yashoda heard this story, they told the cowherd men and the cowherd ladies, and they all decided, let us go to the Ganga on pilgrimage. So they were making all nice arrangements, packing up their rotis and their yogurt and putting it on ox carts. And Krishna saw and asked, what are you doing? Where are you going? He said, you're going too. We're all going to take our bath in the Ganga for liberation. Krishna said, there's no need. All the holy places are in Braj. He said, how is that? He said, no, Ganga's here, I know. Come, I'll show you. And Krishna brought them all to Manasi Ganga. And by Krishna's wish, coming right out from the waters of Manasi Ganga was the presiding deity, Ganga Devi herself, sitting on top of her carrier, a crocodile, giving her blessings. And all the Brajavasis understood that, yes, this is the Ganga. Krishna brought the Ganga with his mind to Vrindavan. And then they all began to offer lamps, fire of ghee, and they were offering flowers, and they were offering prayers, and then they all went in and took their bath. Manasi Ganga. That particular event took place on Diwali. Last night was Diwali. There were tens and thousands of people here at Manasi Ganga offering their lamps. All the banks are just covered with beautiful, beautiful deep or ghee lamps of the devotees offering their love to Krishna. Jiva Goswami explains a very beautiful pastime, one of millions that took place in Manasi Ganga, where Sri Radharani and Gopis, they were carrying pots of their milk sweets and yogurt and butter. and they had to cross the Manasi Ganga. At the time of Krishna, Manasi Ganga was quite big, very big. Some say it was 8 miles. So the night was coming. So they needed to get home. But they needed a boat to cross. So Krishna appeared in the disguise of a boatman. And they called, "Oh, boatman, please, take us across." And the boatman said, "Well, you have to pay me. You have milk products, you have sweets." And they had all these negotiations, and finally, they settled. And Krishna sat there and ate so many sweets and drank so much of the gopis' milk. And then they got on the boat, and he was rowing. The boatman rowed and rowed and rowed, and then he stopped. And gopis asked, "Why did you stop?" He said, "I cannot go on any longer. I'm too hungry. I need something to eat. Give me more yogurt, give me more butter, give me more sweets." So they fed him more and more and more. He ate so much, he laid down. They said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I overate." He said, "I can't row anymore. Now I have to take rest on my left side." So he laid down. He said, "Actually, if you want me to row this boat anymore, my arms are tired. You have to massage my arms." So the gopis said, "If you don't start rowing, we're going to pick you up by your arms and throw you into the water." So he got up and rowed. He rowed, and he rowed, and he rowed. And then he stopped again. "Why did you stop?" Krishna told that there's too much weight in the boat. I can feel that the boat is actually going to sink. And he started making some movements and making the boat move. He said, "We're going to drown." He said, "You have to throw all your milk pots over." So they took all of their milk products in their pots and threw it all in Manasi Ganga. The boatman said, "It's still too heavy. You have to throw all your jewelry in Manasi Ganga." So they took off all their jewelry, threw it in Manasi Ganga. Krishna said, "It's still too heavy. You have to throw all your clothes in Manasi Ganga." The gopis said, "If it's too heavy, we will throw you in Manasi Ganga." So then Krishna began to row again. And he rowed, and he rowed, and he rowed. And then he stopped. And by his will, clouds formed in the sky. And waves started hitting the boat. And Krishna was moving in such a way that the whole boat was very, very agitated. And he was saying, "There's a storm. We're about to sink. We're about to sink. Where do we go?" And then it was such a fearful condition that Srimati Radharani spontaneously she held the boatman and said, "Please save us, boatman. Please save us." But as soon as she touched the boatman, she realized that it was Krishna. And she became very smiling and happy, and all of those clouds disappeared, and the gopis that were wondering, "What's happening?" They turned to Sri Radharani, "What is happening?" And then she took Krishna's flute out of his belt and showed them who is the boatman. And then for the rest of the night, Radha, Gopinath, and the Saki gopis, they performed beautiful Nauka Bihar Leela, boat Leela in Manasi Ganga. On the banks of Manasi Ganga, one day, gopis and Srimati Radharani were waiting for Krishna to meet them. But he was late. They were feeling so much separation. In separation from the Lord, a devotee's solace is to chant the holy names. So all gopis were chanting loudly, "Hari Dev, Hari Dev, Hari Dev, Hari Dev, Hari Dev," praying for Krishna to steal their hearts. "Hari Dev, Hari Dev." They were chanting and chanting, and their separation was increasing and increasing as they were chanting the holy names until they were actually on the verge of leaving their body. And at that moment, a beautiful deity, Haridev, appeared in the form of Govardhan-dhari with his left hand upward, lifting Govardhan hill, and a flute in his belt, a flute being held by his other hand. Gopis, they worship that deity. In fact, almost every day they would come to Manasi Ganga to worship Krishna in the form of that deity. And Vajranabh, to establish this glorious historical event, he established the Haridev temple. In the western petal of the lotus of Braj, Haridev is the predominating deity. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came on his Govardhan Parikrama, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains, he entered into the temple of Haridev. And in ecstatic love, he beheld the beauty of the form of Krishna lifting Govardhan hill. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed kirtan before Haridev, jubilantly dancing in ecstatic love, and soon thousands and thousands of Brijbasis from all around came, loudly chanting the holy name.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
At Manasi Ganga is also Brahma Kund. When Indra did the Abhishekam for Krishna at Govinda Kund, various other demigods also performed Abhishekam. And it was at Brahma Kund that Lord Brahma performed the Abhishekam of Sri Krishna. He kept his water there for the Abhishekam. And there is also the Manasi Devi temple. Manasi Devi that deity was also established by Vajranabh. There are 4 Devis in Braj Bhumi. In Kamyavan is Brinda Devi. In Vrindavan is Yogamaya. In Mathura is Pataleshwari Devi. And at Govardhan is Manasi Devi, the presiding deity of Manasi Ganga. And we will also come to Mukharavinda. Mukharavinda is the mouth of Govardhan. And you'll see on every given day thousands and thousands of people will come to offer milk to Mukharavinda. The scriptures and acharyas tell us that Govardhan is shaped like a peacock. Face is Kusum Sarovar. The 2 eyes of the peacock, Sri Radha Kund, Sri Sham Kund. The tail of the peacock is Punchari. Some say the ears of the peacock is Gval Pokhar. And the mouth of the peacock of Govardhan is Mukharavinda. And the tongue of Govardhan, Raghunath Das Goswami discovered that. That is worshipped today at Sri Radha Kund. So we will have the darshan of Mukharavinda, perhaps from a little distance, because it's really crowded place and very small. Also on the banks of Manasi Ganga is Chakaleshwar Mahadev. Vajranabh established 4 predominant deities of Lord Shiva in the different directions of Braj. In Kamyavan is Kameshwar Mahadev. In Mathura, Bhuteshwar Mahadev. In Vrindavan, Gopeshwar Mahadev. And in Govardhan, Chakaleshwar Mahadev. Sanatana Goswami, he lived for some time at Mahaban. He lived for some time at Dvadasadityatil. And he traveled and did his bhajan in so many various parts of Braj Bhumi. But when he became quite elderly, he made his residence right beside Chakaleshwar Mahadev at Manasi Ganga. There he was writing his divine literatures such as Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Sanatana Goswami was completely immersed in transcendental loving service to Sri Radha and Krishna and to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to all the Goswamis, to all the Brijabasis, and to every living being. Sanatana Goswami was considered the guru of all the Brijabasis. He treated them all with such love, respect, and affection. He was so very deeply concerned with every aspect of their life and their welfare. He would go to a village and ask, how are your crops growing? And how did you get your daughter married? How is your health? And he was always absorbed in speaking and glorifying Krishna. In this way, every Brijabasi, he would travel throughout the 12 forests, and all the Brijabasis just felt such an intimate, loving friendship with Sanatana Goswami. When he was living in Manasi Ganga, many mosquitoes were coming and disturbing his bhajan. So he decided that he would go to another place. Because after all, the bhajan of a great Vaishnava is for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. If the bhajan is being disturbed, then our service to Krishna is being disturbed. So he was thinking, let me go to another place. But Chakaleshwar Mahadev did not want to give up the association of such an exalted, supremely divine being as Sanatana Goswami. So Lord Shiva disguised himself as a Brahmin and approached Sanatana Goswami. Said, where are you going? He said, I'm leaving. Too many mosquitoes here. He said, just stay one more night. There will be no more mosquitoes. And Lord Shiva approached the demigod in charge of insect life and ordered him, no more mosquitoes at Manasi Ganga. Chakaleshwar Mahadev. Don't disturb Sanatana Goswami. So that night, there wasn't even the slightest sound of a mosquito's bzzz. Sanatana Goswami was very, very comfortably performing his bhajan, so he did not leave there. In fact, he spent the rest of his life there. Every day he would do parikrama of Giriraj, but he would do the long parikrama to places like Paita and Chandrasarovar and Rasastali and Kadambakandi, all Shamvan, Shamdak. He would go all these places. It's 24 miles around. He would do it every day, constantly chanting the holy names and meditating on Krishna. In his old age, it was becoming very difficult. Krishna could not even tolerate seeing the trouble he was taking to do this parikram every day. So Krishna appeared in such a way to Sanatana Goswami that Sanatana did not recognize him. He was a small cowherd boy, just like a Brijabasi, and told him, why are you taking so much trouble? He said, I must. And Krishna said, no, there's no need. You're too old. You've already done this so many times. You've done it every day for years and years and years. You're an old person now. There's no need. I can't see you going through so much trouble. And Sanatana Goswami said, no, it is my service to Krishna. It is my service to Govardhan. So the boy stood on top of a Shila and played his flute. And the Shila melted. And the boy's footprint ran into the flute, into the stone. And that stone was given to Sanatana Goswami. And Krishna told him that if you circumambulate this Shila 7 times, you will get the full benefit of maintaining your vow of circumambulating the whole of Govardhan Hill. Sanatana Goswami did that at the Chakaleshwar Mahadev vicinity in his bhajan kutir. And on the day of Guru Purnima, the other Goswamis came from Vrindavan and other places to join Sanatana Goswami in a parikrama of Manasi Ganga. When they arrived, Sanatana Goswami just appeared to be deeply immersed in the samadhi of meditation on Radha Krishna. And then they realized that he left his body. He had departed for Goloka. The whole of Braj was immersed in a fathomless ocean of sorrow when Sanatana Goswami had concluded his Leela on earth. They took his sacred form, circumambulated Govardhan, and then brought to Vrindavan, where just below Dvadasadityatil, they put him in samadhi, just a few steps away from Sri Madan Mohan temple, his worshipable deity. Srila Sanatana Goswami ki. Yeah. And to this day, the largest day for parikrama of Govardhan is not today Govardhan Puja. The two biggest days is Kartik Purnima, which is the Purnima that ends the month of Kartik. But even more than that, when hundreds and hundreds and thousands of Brijavasis, it's just a line all day and all night long, just lines of thousands and thousands and thousands of people, all chanting. That is the big day for Vrindavan, for Govardhan Parikrama, Guru Purnima. And some Brijavasis told us, the reason it is because it's the disappearance day of Sanatana Goswami, who was the greatest of all devotees of Giriraj Govardhan, along with Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Goswami. And in honor of Sanatana Goswami, the Guru of the Brijavasis, they performed the Govardhan Parikrama. So when we go to Manasi Ganga, we're going to very likely experience another case of organized chaos. Or perhaps disorganized chaos. Did all of you enjoy the organized chaos that one night when we went to Bamsivat? Not too many people replied. So, we'll see how to get in and how to get out. Hopefully we'll all have darshan of Hari Dev also. And then we'll continue our Govardhan Parikrama, and we will pass a place called Dangati. We'll have a devotee just in the line saying, this is Dangati. because it's also a very crowded place. It's near main roads. Dangati is the place that Krishna would disguise himself as a tax collector. Or sometimes he didn't even disguise himself. But he would take the role with his intimate cowherd boyfriends with sticks and tell gopis that they must pay taxes for all the milk products that they're carrying. And there would be so many sweet, beautiful leelas in the form of exchanges between Krishna and gopis in that place. Rupa Goswami wrote a book, Lalita Madhava, which gives a lot of attention on the deep separations that Radharani and gopis were feeling from Krishna. He gave a copy of that he gave that manuscript to Raghunath Das Goswami to read at Radha Kund. Raghunath Das Goswami was reading that. He was reading about the separation of the gopis from Krishna. He was beside himself in grief. He was just in ecstasy, sharing their separation. And he was weeping and crying. He wouldn't even eat a pat of buttermilk, which he would do every day. So the associates from Radha Kund, they went to Rupa Goswami and said, your book has really done something to Raghunath Das Goswami. He doesn't sleep, he doesn't eat, he just cries day and night in ecstasy, separation. So Rupa Goswami wrote another book, the Dana Keli Kumudi, which is about the playful pastimes of Dangati at Govardhan. The loving, happy exchanges of Radha and Krishna when they meet to perform this beautiful Leela of Krishna making Radha and her gopis pay tolls. And when he said, I wrote a new book, Rupa Goswami presented, I wrote a new book, Raghunath Das Goswami. Please take it and read it. But give me the old book back. So he took Lalita Madhava, and when Raghunath Das Goswami read about the union, the Milan of Radha and Krishna, he became so happy. He was smiling and dancing and taking his buttermilk again also. So in this way, we will be passing this place where the Dan Leela is eternally being manifested. And then we will come to Dan Nivartan Kund, where if there's enough space, that will be our next stop. So please let us, in a very prayerful and grateful mood, continue our worship of Govardhan Hill on this day of Govardhan Puja. Thank you. We welcome you to the holy Dan Nivartan Kund. This very beautiful place in the Govardhan Parikrama is so very holy, so very sacred, that our Prayojana Acharya, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, wrote an entire book about Dana Nivartan Kund. So many people, as they do the Govardhan Parikrama, they pass by and not even recognize this holy place. I will speak again what I said because now you can hear. Our Prayojana Acharya Raghunath Das Goswami wrote an entire book about this holy place, Dan Nivartan Kund. Therein, in very brief summary, Vasudev arranged for Bhaguri Muni to perform a yajna for the protection of Krishna Balaram. The yajna was taking place at Govind Kund. Shukshmati, the pet parrot of Srimati Radharani, informed her of this most auspicious ceremony. So Srimati Radharani, along with her very close associates, were bringing pots of ghee and other such milk products for the purpose of the yajna. At least that was their excuse. In actuality, whatever they did was always to make Krishna's beautiful pastimes more and more pleasing. Krishna's parrot informed him that Srimati Radharani was on her way to Govind Kund. So here, Krishna, again in the role of a toll collector, blocked the path with his friends. that being appointed by Kandarpa, Krishna is Madan Mohan, the supreme Kandarpa, being appointed by Kandarpa, I have come to extract the taxes that you owe. So many times you pass this way with the goods of milk products, ghee and butter and yogurt, and all of these days you have not paid any tax to the king. Today you must pay. A beautiful debate took place between Radharani and her friends and Krishna and his friends. And ultimately Krishna told one of his friends to calculate exactly how much the gopis owed. Krishna told that each gopi must give 5 handfuls of diamonds for the milk products that they have in their pots. And Srimati Radharani must pay special taxes for every beautiful limb of her body. And he went into great detail of exactly what the payment was for each particular beautiful aspect of Srimati Radharani. So Radharani just ignored Krishna and tried to pass, but he blocked. And then there was a beautiful discussion. The entire book is about this discussion. Radhanath Goswami describes Nandi Mukhi, one of the very principal gopis of Vrindavan, arrived at the scene. What is this quarrel? Please tell me, can I help? And she heard about everything, and she was absolutely amazed. Such a wonderful, astonishing pastime of love is taking place here at Govardhan. She said, actually, they have to get to this yajna. So let them leave, and I promise you, tomorrow they will return at the same time, same place, to pay the toll. So Krishna released them. The next day, hundreds of gopis came early, and they were hiding. And when Krishna and Gopas, that were only a few, they came thinking they will perform their lila. As soon as they arrived, the gopis surrounded them, even tied their sikas to trees. And Lalita Gopi, she told Krishna that Radharani is Vrindavaneshwari, and your cows have been eating the grass of Vrindavan, and you and your cowherd boys have been trampling the grass of Vrindavan for so many days, so you owe tolls. Krishna said, but I have nothing. So the gopis told him, then you should submit yourself at the lotus feet of Vrindavaneshwari Sri Radharani. And Krishna, in this place, Dhanivartan Kund, Krishna begged forgiveness from Radharani for all the tax pastimes in which he harassed her, and bowed down, accepting her to be Vrindavaneshwari. This beautiful story reveals the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Raghunath Das Goswami is teaching us the power of bhakti. People think to have wealth, to have influence, to have reputation is something great. And people who understand that that's really a miserable condition. Krishna tells in Gita that the pleasures of the mind and senses in this world are sources of misery. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha jonaya evate atyantavanta konteya nate shuddhamate buddha. A wise person does not delight in these petty pleasures of mind and senses. Even if you can conquer the universe like Ravana or Hiranyakashipu, there can be no real peace or satisfaction. Therefore, people take to the yogic process to try to attain peace. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, various processes of gradual development until finally we could come to the platform of complete engrossment, complete exclusive concentration on Brahman, beyond material modes of nature. And others take to the process of jnana to achieve mukti or liberation from all material desires and attachments. But Rupa and Raghunath, they taught us something billions of times higher. Anyabhilashita sunyam jnana karamanya navirtam anukulyena krishna nushilanam bhaktirutama. That pure devotional service is so high and so deep. In order to achieve it, we have to completely give up all desire for karma. That means for gross and subtle material enjoyment. We have to give up all desires for mystic powers or yogic perfections. We even have to give up all desires for impersonal liberation, mukti. If you desire mukti, which Haridas Thakur claimed to be only an insignificant byproduct of bhakti, if you desire that mukti, bhakti is unattainable. Pure devotional service is not contaminated by anything other than the favorable execution of service for the pleasure of Krishna. Bhaktya mama vijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. Therefore, one can only achieve the kingdom of God through devotion, bhakti. And this is very important, because the material world, there are so many agents of Maya promising us happiness or relief from distress through various material arrangements. And 98% at the least of the entire world's population is engrossed in following that path. And then there are so many yogis and sadhus and swamis and gurus and other types of religionists who are teaching us through asana, through dhyan, through various other techniques, how to live more peacefully, how to live in this world and be at peace with yourself and be at peace with others, and realize that great feeling of peace within yourself. But from the point of view of pure devotional service, that is, if we follow them, we will be cheated. If we have any inclination toward what they are teaching, we will be cheated. And there are those who teach us to renounce everything, become sannyasis, study the Veda literatures very scrutinizingly, perform your meditation and your worship of the deity, and you will attain liberation. In India, the vast majority of people on the path of some spiritual process, this is what they are following. Either Astanga Yoga, or Karma Kanda, or Jnana Kanda. But Rupa Goswami teaches, Anyabhilashita sunyam jnana karmanya anukulena krishna nushilanam bhaktirutama. The whole Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is more or less a purport to that verse. that we have to give up all desires for anything except favorable devotional service which will please Krishna. Anything else is a contamination, it is a disturbance. Because nothing else will attract Krishna, the all-attractive, who is Bhaktavatsal, when he shows us his affection to us by our sincere effort to engage in the 9 processes of devotional service, then by his grace, the love of our heart awakens. Srimati Radharani is the proprietor of the divine love. Devotional service is her energy. When we engage sincerely in devotional service, we are actually coming, Krishna explains, we are Daivihi Shugunamai Mamavayadara. When we surrender to Krishna, we are liberated from the material energy. We come under the control of the spiritual energy. And Srimati Radharani is the controller, the Hladini Shakti of Krishna's spiritual energy, the energy of love. And that is what Vrindavan is about. Surrendering our hearts at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani by following the path of bhakti. Raghunath Das Goswami has established so beautifully by revealing one of the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Here at Dana Nivartan Kund, this sweet Leela is taking place eternally, which manifests to the world the supreme glory of Srimati Radha's love. So let us all strive, as the servant of the servant of the servant, to take shelter of her love by practicing devotional service as our exclusive goal and purpose in life. We come to Vrindavan to beg for that we may exclusively dedicate our body, mind, words, and life for the loving service of the Lord. Let that be our prayer here at Dana Nivartan Kund. And let that be our prayer during our circumambulation of Govardhan Hill as we are chanting the holy names.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami ki jai, Gaur Premanandi. Oh. Someone could go down and throw the Charanamrit, these sacred waters. Maybe someone can do for everyone. Thank you very, very much. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and our beloved Acharyas, we have been blessed with the fortune of coming to Govinda Kund. I'd like to introduce a very dear godbrother of mine, His Holiness Paramadvaiti Swami Maharaj. Much louder, please. Thank you. And he's also here with many wonderful devotees on parikrama from all parts of the world. Maharaj, if you can speak for some time, we'll be grateful.
After just hearing this wonderful Mangala Charanam and offering of obeisance to Govinda Kunda by my dear godbrother Srila Radhanath Swami, who we have met over the years, again and again, usually in Vrindavan, on parikrama, sometimes in Varshana, sometimes in Govinda Kunda, so I feel very lucky to have these meetings and this remembrance of Srila Prabhupada. I was just thinking, first I want to let me offer my obeisances to my spiritual master and to all of you who are so wonderfully doing parikrama here in the Dham. I was thinking of this one shloka of Srila Raghunath Goswami, who said, in the absence of my Gurudev, even the holy mountain of Govardhan looks to me like a big python. And Radhakunda, the holiest of all places in our Sampradaya, to me it looks just like a tiger mouth ready to devour me. After coming here, now you don't know fully to appreciate that shloka until you experience what you never want to mention, the separation from your spiritual master. We did experience that because Srila Prabhupada went back to Krishna, as you so well know. So, after the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada, the world was very empty for us. And it was very hard to conceive how to exist without the guardian, the loving guardian. Now we are given testimony in front of Govinda Kunda and Giriraj Maharaj himself, and we can look and look and look, the Govardhan Shilas everywhere, on the altars, in the temples, Radha Govindaji, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Gopinataji, everywhere you can see so many things, but to myself, everything only comes into sense when I start seeing Srila Prabhupada in all these transcendental manifestations of Krishna's grace. In every particle of dust of Vrindavan, it carries meaning by Srila Prabhupada's grace. Every mantra I chant becomes alive by his inspiration to be with the devotees. In every devotee I see, sometimes I get confused and I may see just some relative side of that particular individual, but then as soon as I step back for a little distance and I say, wait, this is all Prabhupada's grace. In good moments and bad moments, it's all Prabhupada's grace. Krishna is coming to us through Prabhupada's grace. And without Prabhupada's grace, we would be nowhere. We would have no substance of our existence. Everything we are made of is the mercy of Prabhupada. One Gaudiya Acharya once told me, he said, you know something? He wasn't from ISKCON, he was from a Gaudiya. He says, you know something? Everybody nowadays, from the south of India to the north and all the other countries, everybody's eating Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Prasadam. Because it's all coming from his impulse, from his incredible preaching that the whole world took up Krishna consciousness so serious. Of course, no doubt there were other contributors as well, but there is such an outstanding contribution which came when Srila Prabhupada conquered the world for Krishna, single-handedly going out there with no means except his love and his faith in the orders of his Guru Maharaj. So, in this way, we are appreciating this. We are eating his prasadam because the mercy comes also in the way of prasadam. Somebody donated the prasadam. Somebody grew the food. It's all Prabhupada's grace, physically, not only on a very etherical sphere, very physically. Without his prasadam, we'd be all finished. And he inspired that prasadam. He inspired that distribution of mercy. And he gave to all of us hope for a true future, a future in Goloka Vrindavan with Krishna, if he wishes to take us there. If he's satisfied with whatever little effort we have made in this world, if he gives us his gracious, his mercy and forgives us our shortcomings, whatever mistakes we do or offenses, aparats, which Nama aparats, Dhamma aparats, Vaishnava aparats, which some others sneak into our system, and sometimes we even cultivate it instead of kicking it out right away as we are supposed to do. But as there are mistaken situations in this world, so as there is the grace and there is the mercy coming from Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada, he gave us the possibility to see the large picture of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission and Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's vision. And in this way we can understand, like we were just talking recently, that we are just one big, wonderful, transcendental family, regardless what somebody may sometimes think and feel and may see different, but we are one big, great, transcendental family with the Brijbasis also, with all those who are trying sincerely to get the mercy of Govardhan Hill, who will come to take shelter on the Govardhan Hill, because Govardhan Hill was lifted by Krishna to give shelter to his devotees. So when Indra was furious and he wanted to really retaliate for the Brijbasis haven't listened to Krishna and ignored the Indra Puja and just worshipped this Govardhan. Who's this Govardhan? I'm the king of heaven. I'm going to really come there and show them who has the power. So everybody took shelter under Govardhan, and King Indra with all his thunders and clouds, and it was lost, couldn't do anything. Everything was just in the hands of Krishna. And then even King Indra started thinking, wait a second, I think I blew it. I think I did something really off the wall here, and I'm going to match up for that one, I'm going to do that. So then he, first of all, of course, he recalled the troublesome clouds and all that, and then shy and shamed by his mistaken position and by his not recognizing his own Lord, the Lord of his heart, he not recognizing him, then he came to Vrindavan and threw himself at Krishna's feet, So this is Govardhan, this is the shelter, the place of shelter, Ashraya Vigraha. Actually, Radharani is Ashraya Vigraha, but Radharani and Govardhan, they're very intimately related. You see, sometimes Govardhan is Krishna, sometimes Govardhan is Radha Krishna, sometimes Govardhan is Haridas Savarya, the best of the devotees of Hari. So his position is pretty hard to understand, is intrinsical, something mystical, absolutely amazing. And now today, here we are sitting and we are surrounded by a garland of Vaishnavas, 20 kilometers of garland moving around Govardhan. Just have a bird view to see what that looks like, And Govardhan is just experiencing the bliss that the Vaishnavas, and I tell you, he feels special bliss when somebody of Prabhupada's people come here from Africa, South America, or anywhere, and they're coming all the way just to touch the dust of Vrindavan with their head and to enjoy the company of the other devotees. And in this way, I can only tell you, whatever I can't see, whatever I can't understand, I only have to think about Srila Prabhupada, and it seems all to be okay. So I want to also say to all of you, you are very lucky to go around with your Gurudev here. Cherish it, keep it in your heart. As long as you can in this life, the closer and the happier we are in the service of Sri Guru, the closer we can understand who's Govardhan and Govinda Kunda. Nithai Gaura Premanandi Hariva!